When night falls, the screens stay lit. What drives journalism today is not only professional ideals, but also an invisible rhythm of control. Traffic alerts, editor messages, KPI countdowns. Philosopher Byung-Chul Han points out that today's violence no longer relies on comments. Instead, it has in the language of freedom, forming a system of self-driving control in everyday life. Traditionally, violence is understood as external force or coercion. But Mr. Han argues that modern violence is more hidden and internalized. He introduces the concept of soft violence, a form of control that operates not through orders, but through freedom and voluntary participation. In journalism, the logic appears when reporters are no longer forced to work overtime, but choose to chase traffic, track KPIs, and internalize performance standards. This is exploitation driven by freedom. Journalists willingly become subject of self-optimization, turning external demands into personal goals. According to UNESCO, 86 journalists were killed worldwide in 2022. But even away from the front lines, journalists face constant pressure. Data shows that 69% of media workers report symptoms of anxiety, and 46% say they experience depression. KPI targets, trending topics, deadlines, these seemingly neutral metrics actually form a system of control through responsibilization. They don't come as direct comments, but they shape our behavior through internal pressure. This is what Mr. Han calls "Operation is the name of freedom." Digital news platforms have intensified this structural form of control. Media theorist Christine Fuchs notes that journalists today are not only content producers, but also part of algorithmic processes as providers of attention labor. From content creation to platform distribution, from user feedback to algorithmic adjustment, journalists constantly self-correct to match the platform's logic of visibility and traffic. This seemingly efficient feedback loop traps each journalist in the illusion of being a free worker. But in reality, it creates an asymmetric system of information control. Journalism values truth and responsibility, but under the pressure of clicks and traffic, these standards are gradually being eroded.
Every second you're not current, 1,000 people are changing the channel to the guy who is. That's the business you're in.
In this environment, news is forced to prioritize speed over verification, and stories are shaped by what attracts attention, not by what is true. Mr. Han reminds us, soft violence does not comment. It speaks the language of duty and passion, inviting people to compete willingly with structures of control. The true power of control lies not in coercion, but in making people believe. This is what we call freedom. When passion becomes performance and freedom becomes a driving force, what appears voluntary often turns into ongoing and subtle discipline. Mr. Han argues that the essence of soft violence is control exercised in the name of freedom, not through force, but through consent. But journalism is more than just a job. It is a form of judgment. So the real question is not whether we have the right to choose, but whether we still have the ability to refuse.